Little town, little gas lamp quarter where fans flock to convention halls. Nerdy place full of nerdy people. Hello, Comic-Con.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Field of Geeks special episode, recapping 2017 Wizard World Comic-Con in Des Moines. I'm Steve.
Josh.
And we're just getting over the weekend a little bit. Still feeling the drink we had on Friday night.
Yeah.
That one was pretty powerful stuff. But
I could use another one.
Yeah, no kidding. It was really good. I said in the blog, I know why they call it the Daredevil, because I could barely see when I was done drinking it, and needed to be led around. You know,
I drank mine too fast.
I did too.
Slurring my speech a bit. Yeah, it's a double whiskey,
and a Coke.
Right?
Yeah,
Yep,
and
perfect.
It was amazing, but I
was.
probably should have had some food beforehand.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
that's all right though. So. Yeah, it was a great time, you know. I mean, huge special thanks to Wizard and specifically Jerry Milani, you know, hooking us up with some press passes and being extremely accommodating before the con and during the con. It was just really nice of those guys to include us with that. So big shout out to them.
Yes, absolutely.
So overall reactions, man, what did you think?
I loved it. I've been going to the, this is our third year with them, and I've been to other ones they've had, like in Minneapolis, and I loved it. I love the whole culture. You know, it's just you get to meet new people, geek out. It's nice because usually you have to explain certain things to people,
right?
Cosplay, just trying to take it all in. Still, really.
Oh yeah,
you know, it was really fun. Really fun.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I mean, I've been to a couple cons in the past, but they weren't of this size.
Yeah.
One was bigger, but it didn't have anything fun like this one did. Just had a ton of vendors, some comic guys, and that was about it. You know, you called it a day.
Yeah.
But, like I said to you and Zach, you know, that's where I want to die. Is right in the middle of the con floor at some point. So, warning in case they do come back in the next couple years. That may happen.
You know, I will say this. You know, they have those vendors like the back people.
Yeah.
You know, do a scan on your spine or whatever.
The laser eye people. Yeah.
Can we get homemakers next year? Because they could probably give us a nice sectional.
No kidding, right?
Yeah. Chillax.
Yeah, no kidding. Bring some equipment and just record.
I'd appreciate it. Yeah. It'd be very nice.
That'd be awesome. I miss the back people. Of all people that should probably see them.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I think we need masseuses over that. But
chair
I get
massages. That'd be cool.
That's what you really need.
But that place is so hot sometimes, and gets especially with a million people in there.
Yeah. Hats off to everyone who cosplays, because man, that's a job.
That's commitment. Darth Vader walking around. Oof, you know, I mean, the guys in the Mandalorian outfits. I mean, I can imagine the amount of sweat those guys had.
Oh yeah.
With.
Probably lose a bunch of weight.
Right.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Next we're in cosplay.
Yes,
so got it.
Sounds good.
I'll be in a Jabba outfit.
It's going to be in a...
Translation, my normal self.
I'll just be in a trash can.
Right, there you go. But it was fun, man. I know it was cool seeing Mayhem Comics there, you know, and... they had collectibles ranging from the new fidget spinners, you know, a zillion of those, all the way up to action figures, comics, T-shirts, you know, the whole thing, posters. It was
coupons
to Mayhem.
Nice.
I like that. It expires at the end of June, so make sure you get there.
Get on it right now.
But yeah, it was just awesome. There was so much to take in, you know,
Absolutely.
And a lot of cool stuff. And a lot of those vendors were super nice. They'd sit there and talk to you, and
sure.
You know, I was talking to the one guy, he had a bunch of Godzilla figures, you know, and
Sweet.
As a kid, I just loved Godzilla. And, you know, he went through and talked about every single one. And I mean, this guy, he knew his stuff. He knew more about Godzilla than I did.
Well, that's what's great about the toy vendors.
Oh, man.
You know, my first con, I saw an Ecto 1.
Yeah.
Brand new in a box, like $100-some.
Right.
And man, I was like instantly back as a child.
Yeah.
Except, you know, I didn't want to pay that much for Ecto 1, but they had Ninja Turtle figures there.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
$125 a piece.
Boy.
So I told my cousin, because he shared the photo to me, I said, yeah, just get me all four. It's fine.
Nice.
I'll accept that.
Well, you know what? It's I mean, you could spend all kinds of money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I saw stuff that was just super affordable and easy, you know, up to the, like you said, hundreds of dollars for, you know, something, you know, it was all really cool stuff though.
Yeah. And I finally saw a Nintendo Classic.
Yeah.
Which I've always looked for at Target, even though I know they're not going to have it. $200 and some dollars.
Yeah, I saw that up there. That was
It's like I'll pay 50 to 60 like I wanted to.
Right.
So if you're here listening, Nintendo, please.
Yeah. I wonder if they sold it. You know,
I don't know. It's tempting.
I don't know, something like that. I mean, I plunked down several $100 over the weekend, you know, and it's totally worth it. You know, I mean, if they're coming again next year, I'm start setting aside a little bit now, you know, and
for sure,
especially for like pictures and autographs, stuff like that. You know, I mean, it was and we'll talk a little bit about some pictures and autographs. I know, like from my family got, but it was a lot of fun, man. It was a great time.
It was quick.
It was, way too fast.
Yeah,
you know, I mean. Great panels, and we'll talk about some of those as we come up. But they had a lot of great celebrity guests this year. I know Charlie Sheen backed out, but we did get John Cusack in his place, which was cool. You know, star of a ton of great 80s movies, out there.
Yeah.
Better Off Dead, still one of my absolute all-time favorites. Stan Lee. If you don't know who Stan Lee is and you're listening to this podcast, go ahead and stop listening. Get to Google, research, come on back and join us.
Right.
But it was cool to see Stan Lee there. You know, at his age, still going around to cons. I mean, I thought he was done, but
yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of on his farewell tour.
Oh,
from what I hear.
Okay.
I mean, I know that New York Con this year was, you know, they hyped it up for his last appearance. I can't imagine him doing more.
Or at least a lot.
Yeah, he deserves a break.
The guy deserves a break.
Yes, he does.
And he's been, giving us stuff to love since World War II, basically.
Yeah,
it seems like.
Exactly. I just hope when I'm 94, maybe people pay, $200, $300 just to see me.
Right. And if I make it to 94, I hope I'm as sharp as he is. You know, I mean, the guy...
Well, maybe it's just all about working, doing what you love, I guess. I mean, look at Shatner. He's in his 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Man, when my grandparents were, that age, they were like, we're home. This guy's going out, and he's active, and I think it really helps.
And I know this veers off the path a little bit, but I think, from a mental standpoint, if you're keeping your mind active and you're, engaging in that stuff regardless of your age, it does. It makes you... you're more vital. Your vitality's higher, and you just you feel better. So it's cool.
Strongly agree with that.
Yeah, but tons of other great stars. Kane Hodder, a legend in the horror business.
Yes,
as Jason Voorhees. He did 3 or 4 movies.
Yeah, he did like 7 through 9 or 10.
Yeah, it felt like he did a lot more.
And that's what I thought. I was really surprised by that.
But he was forget having the hockey mask on and carrying a machete. He was still physically imposing.
He's fit. I mean, he's jacked.
Dude was we were up there by the Charmed line because Claire was getting ready to talk to another guest, Holly Marie Combs from Charmed, and he walked up to her and started talking. And at first I'm like, is that a pro wrestler? That's Kane Hodder. I mean, it took me a second to register, and it was just really cool. So yeah, I mean, Holly Marie Combs was there from Charmed, and Claire got an autograph with her or from her and was able to go up and talk to her for a few minutes. I mean, Claire was up there and picking out the picture and stuff, and she shows Claire a picture on her phone of her kid, when they were younger and stuff, like they'd been buddies forever,
that's cool.
It was really cool, she
awesome.
took a few minutes out to talk and stuff, and Claire was just tickled pink. I mean, she's...
Oh, I can't imagine. I mean, is that her first time getting celebrity autographs?
Yeah, I mean, the first celebrity she's ever met was Bill Clinton, and she got a selfie during the campaign,
Right.
And, but beyond that, like actually getting to talk to someone or getting an autograph, I mean, that was
It's crazy. You just realize they're actually real people, and... Yeah, they're like face to face, breathing the same air you are.
Exactly. So. And she was just so tickled that she got a... she's seen Charmed, I think, at least 2 or 3 times.
Sure.
Over and over again.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, she's watched that series a couple different times, and I, of course, watched a lot of it with her,
yeah,
being the dad. But, it's a fun show, and it was cool. And then also from Charmed was her TV husband, Brian Krause. He was there as well. Sweet. Super nice guy.
Awesome.
Very friendly. From Charmed, Emma Caulfield and James Marsters. Anya was who Emma Caulfield played, and Spike was James Marsters' character. And the entire reason Claire wanted to go was because of James Marsters. She was in love with Spike during that show, biggest crush on him.
Big Buffy fan.
Big, huge Buffy fan. Another thing that she's watched a couple times.
Yeah.
Up until Saturday night after we got home from the con. I'd never watched a single minute of Buffy. And, after going to their panel, which we'll talk a little bit about later, I was like, oh, let me watch this thing. We watched first episode and I'm like, this is really good, and Joss Whedon show. So, I mean, he's a legend in his own right. But, Claire got our picture with James. And I don't think I've ever seen her smile that big in that picture. So it was pretty cool.
Was it a selfie or was it a professional?
It was a professional thing. Yeah, she went back there and got it. And
nice.
Had his arm around her and, was just super nice and friendly. And she was just, she's in cloud nine. So it was cool.
I bet.
And our good friend Napoleon Dynamite was there, John Hader.
Yeah.
He's not really our friend.
Gosh.
But he was, give me your tots. He was there and he seemed very engaging with fans and stuff too.
Sure.
He had a lot of people coming by his table and just seemed like a real nice guy. From the Next Generation, Marina Sirtis, Counselor Troy, was there live and in person.
Got her autograph.
Yeah, nice.
Quite an accomplishment. That was a little stressful, but just weird. I don't think. Well, besides Shatner, I've never seen a Star Trekker. I don't know if that's how you call it.
Yeah,
I don't want to get beamed out of here.
Right. No.
But the funny thing is, she, I went up there because I didn't really have much cash on me. Mm-hmm. And I hated to do this, but I was like, "Do you guys take cards?" Because some people got this swiper device, and she said, "No, we take cash." And very nice about it, of course. So I get the cash. I'm with my brother-in-law. He loaned me some money.
Yeah.
And the minute we turn around, she's gone. Maybe 5-10 minutes later, we're eating, some lunch, and I'm just all of a sudden I had a thought come to me. I was like, did she beam out of here? But it was cool. My daughters came for a little bit, and they were with me in line for her. They didn't want to go to their uncles, so they ended up stealing all the thunder.
Of
because
course.
she talked to them first and was like, oh, they're so pretty and nice eyes, and you must get that from your mother. And she didn't say I was ugly,
right?
But she knew. And they got to meet her. They had probably no idea who the heck she was.
Yeah.
But
just some nice lady,
and like that, all my questions went out the window because it was kind of it sucked. I wish I could relive it, but I'm glad she got to interact with him. That's pretty cool. But I chose a photo. She signed it and said, thank you and all that. But I didn't know what to ask. You know, it's like, what do I go into?
Right.
Was Titan going to be a series? I just, but that was great.
She seemed great. She had a lot of great pictures available for autographs as well.
Yeah, she did. Quite a selection.
Walked by her table. Yeah, it was
hard to.
Oh yeah. I mean, what do you pick?
Right.
But, it was really cool to see her. At a show in Omaha, I think it was an auto show maybe. Bashir and Terry Farrell, Dax were there.
Oh, man.
And I wasn't watching Deep Space Nine then.
Oh,
so me. I don't watch that show. I just kept on going, I mean, what a moron. Especially now that I love that show.
Right.
Another one of the 5 million reasons I always want to kick myself.
Well, let me ask, was he charging for autographs at the time?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I just saw him from a distance, and I'm like, I don't care.
Because back then, who knows? They were probably like, I'll just autograph something. Now it's like, I'm going to need $40, $50. Like, dang it. I got it for free.
I know. I remember being a little kid and going to a car show in Omaha, and Adam West was there in costume and everything. Man. And they were free, signing autographs all day. It was pretty cool.
Man, I can't imagine that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was just wasted opportunity, man.
Yeah, I know.
But there were cool cars there.
That's why you get the time machine.
That's right. Go back and fix that mistake.
And it was there.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Exactly. Just 88 miles per hour.
Nice.
And then 2 WWE superstars, Seth Rollins and Alexa Bliss, were there. I physically didn't see them. I know they were there. I heard someone talking how they saw them and stuff, but I think it was just timing. I just didn't get a chance to see those guys. But Seth Rollins is from Iowa, Davenport,
represent.
So he's basically coming back home.
That's great.
Pretty cool. And then one of the nicest guys on planet Earth, Dean Cain.
Yes,
was back. He's been here before, right?
Yeah, he actually came our first year.
Okay,
yes, he did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But man, he was super nice. So just everybody.
He was. He's very nice.
Even people that were just walking by his booth, he'd smile and wave and the whole thing. He just seemed like a real personable guy.
Yeah.
And then the voice of Super Mario.
Yes.
Charles, how do you say his last name?
Oh, I don't
Is it
know.
Martinet or Martinet?
Yeah, that's
one of
that's
the two.
good.
Yeah, that's good. It's Martin with an E-T
It's Mario.
in the end. Right, it's Mario. So he was there. He seemed pretty fun, and
Yes.
he always had a lot of people at his table. That was cool.
He came last year too.
Oh, did he?
So I was really happy to see him
nice.
again.
That's cool.
He is not shy about doing those voices for anybody.
He
which
was
is
having
great.
a great time,
Right,
and
yeah.
people loved him.
Oh, yeah.
it was sweet.
My daughters actually went up to him with their uncles and got an autograph, and he was doing all the voices for them.
Oh,
and
that's
they're just
awesome.
Tickled. So great guy.
That is cool. I mean, someone will just do that kind of stuff.
Comes to life. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, you get to close your eyes and there it is.
Right.
I mean,
It's like Kane Hodder. You put a mask on him. Oh
Right.
my gosh, I gotta go.
yeah, exactly. I mean, as he was, I almost thought the same thing.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah. He could take me.
Yeah, absolutely. But Cass Anvar from Assassin's Creed was there. Did you notice what he was wearing?
The gear.
He
from...
had the gauntlets on and everything.
That's
and
cool.
I mean that was pretty sweet.
Oh, sweet.
So he seemed like a pretty cool guy too. And Barry Bostwick, legend from Spin City, the TV show, Rocky Horror Picture Show. He's been in a million things. My wife was actually fortunate enough to go up and talk to him for a few minutes, and that was cool. Seemed like a super nice guy. He was there Friday night too, if I recall.
Yes.
Because not everyone was there all 3 days, but
Correct.
I remember seeing him Friday night when we were there. And then from the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz was there too.
Saw him walk by.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a ton of great celebrity guests, and there was no shortage of people, going and getting autographs, and
Sure.
taking pictures, and the whole thing. So it was just really neat to see. For me, the most fun part of that is just watching people's faces and reactions. When they get to meet some of their heroes, and
Absolutely.
that's forget about just coming to a Comic-Con, I mean, people are there making memories, and just creating
Sure.
things that they'll remember their whole life.
Absolutely.
So it was pretty fun, that was pretty cool. From the comic creator side, so selfishly, this is what I was really digging. Had quite a few great talented people show up this year. Aunt Lucia, he's a local guy from Iowa here. He's a cover artist for a lot of great covers, but very, very notable for DC Bombshells. You take a look at that guy's art and it stands out. I mean, it's not something that you might confuse with anyone else. I put it up on a level like with an Alex Ross or, just someone like Jim Lee, someone who you see that art and you know who it is. And, a nicer guy couldn't be found. I got a chance to interview him. Did a 5-question segment. This is Steve with Field of Geeks, here with Aunt Lucia, right?
Lucia, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Local, Iowa guy.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Awesome. Your work's very unique. It's immediately recognizable, like in Alex Ross, for an example. Who were some of your inspirations in comic art as you were growing up?
Oh, gosh, I really loved, and this is bad to say, but as a young kid, I probably just looked at a lot of the artwork and didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I kind of started having my favorites and stuff like that. So, definitely Alex Ross is definitely an inspiration. Adam Hughes, Jim Lee, Travis Charis, J. Scott Campbell's got great stuff. Trying to think of some of the other ones here. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, I can appreciate a lot of different art styles. So even as far as like Dan Hipp, the young Teen Titans stuff.
Yeah.
And, I'm a graphic designer also, as well, as an illustrator. So, some of the more graphic artwork grabs my attention as well.
Right.
So.
Awesome. That's good. So with today's technology, a lot of creators, it's easier for them to get their work out there. Is there any advice you give to like an up-and-coming artist who's just trying to get their name out there with the audience?
Yeah. Gosh, I think today's artists do have an advantage as far as the social media goes. They can definitely get a lot more exposure a lot quicker.
Sure.
But I would have to say, I think there's a lot of talented people, and you see just aisles and aisles of talented people out there. And I never counted on this taking off as a career.
Right.
So I do graphic design 40 hours a week still.
Sure.
And it's something that I've always enjoyed as well. So, I would say do your illustration and do your artwork for yourself.
Right.
And then, this is going to sound bad, but don't quit your day job. You know? Sometimes that leads into something new, or in my case, graphic design, I think it helps. One helps the other. Illustration helps my design, and design helps my illustration.
Sure.
So choosing that career path actually strengthened my illustration style and got me where I needed to be for doing work for DC.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I've always been a DC guy growing up. I mean, I have limited Marvel, but I've got almost 20,000 comics at home.
Oh my gosh.
Most are DC.
Wow.
So my wife hates it completely. So a few more easy questions.
Yeah.
Miracle Whip or Hellman's?
Neither. I'm not a mayonnaise guy.
Fair enough. Because Miracle Whip's the wrong answer.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else is fine. All right, so this is the fun question. Aliens have invaded. You're public enemy number one. You get to pick 3 superheroes of any company to protect you. Who are they?
Okay. Well, that's 2 of them are easy. Batman, Superman.
There you go.
The third one. That's trickier. Let's go with. We better just go with the Trinity. I'll take Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman too, yeah. That's
nice
a strong choice.
That's
right, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got some familiarity there.
Exactly.
So where can people find you online then?
AntLucia.com. ANTLUCIA.
Awesome. Well, hey, it's great talking to you. I sure appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
All right.
So had some fun with that, and I bought some art from him, and he was just a super nice guy.
That's awesome.
So he was pretty cool. And then Phil Hester, who I didn't get a chance to talk to, but he's also a local guy here from Central Iowa. Green Arrow, Batman Beyond, the TV version of the Flash comic book. He's doing the art for that.
Great.
He was here, I think, Saturday and Sunday. I'm not sure about Friday. From the creator side, from the WWE was their artist, a guy that does a lot of paintings. He's been doing things since WrestleMania 30 for the company, Rob Schamberger, and he had a big giant table full of stuff. Insanely talented guy. I mean, just really cool. And then Victor Dandridge. So he moderated 2 of the panels that we were at, as well as the Charmed and Buffy panel that I was at on Saturday. And he's a self-published guy out of Ohio. He's got his own imprint. I think it's called Vantage In-House Productions. So he's just a small indie guy, but I mean, he's an excellent communicator. He's obviously a pretty good historian of comics, and he was just super, super nice, he was very smart, funny, engaging with the crowd, and he did the celebrity panels really well too. So I mean, it was he did a nice job balancing between questions from the audience and engaging the stars and everything. He was really cool, so I'm excited to maybe look for some of his stuff out there. And when you see someone who's just a nice guy like that, you want to support him however you can. So
of course,
I'm gonna take a look for that guy and see what's going on there. He's a great speaker and a great moderator.
Sure, we even gave him our card.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so that was cool.
Yeah,
I handed out a few cards on Saturday myself.
Heck yeah!
So that was cool.
Awesome.
But Danny Fingeroth, Marvel legend, a Spider-Man editor. He's a Marvel from 77 or 78 to 1995. He's been around the block a few days, so he had some excellent perspective in that Spider-Man panel.
It's great.
And he had that PowerPoint presentation, with all the Vulture variations. And,
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, obviously he knows his stuff.
Right.
This is a guy you just listen to, and it's like it's like you're in class. It's pretty cool
for sure.
Really cool. And then Barbara Slate, she's worked for Marvel, DC, Disney, and Archie. She's just done a ton of great stuff too. And there's a ton of other people that were there from a creator standpoint. And if you go to wizardworld.com, you can check out the full guest list of the Des Moines people, but we could be here all night reading some of these names of the creators. But so some of those ones that read out, stood out, and one in particular that I want to mention is Mikey Babinski. He's a inker from Marvel, worked on Spider-Man and some of their biggest properties. Got a chance to do a 5 questions with him as well.
This is Steve with the Field of Geeks podcast. I'm sitting here with Mikey Babinski at the WizardCon in Des Moines. How's it going, Mike?
Going pretty good.
Awesome. So just a few quick questions. We're doing a 5 questions with a few creators today. Inkers are, in my opinion, kind of the glue that brings the pencils to the colors. I know you undercut yourself a little bit, but I think there's a little bit more to it than that.
There is, but being less of an artist, I feel like I'm more of a tracer.
Sure, fair enough.
And I get, they say don't say that, but there are artists who, when the inker does too much of a difference, they don't like those inkers.
Right.
So they're looking for someone to be truer to their style.
And some of them ink their own work, don't they?
Yeah. So I try to be as true to their style as I possibly can. So when I'm doing my best work, I feel like I'm tracing.
Right.
Because I'm trying to keep their art intact.
The vision, right.
Because if they put like 15 hours into a page, I don't want to change it all and then, they'll be mad.
And they won't want to work with you again, probably. So that's, that's
they'll get you replaced.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So what path did you take professionally to get you to this point?
Know the right people.
Yeah.
Wait for someone to jump ship, and that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I knew a guy in town who was an artist, and his inker left for Marvel, and then he was stuck. And they're like, well, let's try this guy out until we can find a replacement.
Yeah.
And then they liked what I was doing, and then I got work.
Awesome. That's great. So, you've worked on some of the world's most popular characters, honestly.
I was fortunate.
Yeah,
Wonder
very
Woman,
fortunate.
Spider-Man,
yeah. So who were some of your influences as an artist in the comic world?
In the comic world, like Alfredo Alcala, who most people aren't familiar with. Bernie Wrightson.
Yes.
Franklin Booth, who was a prolific illustrator back in the 20s and 30s. People who did like really intense line work.
Right. Awesome. That's good. So, fun, easy questions from here on out. Miracle Whip or Hellman's?
Neither.
That's good.
Not a mayonnaise.
Miracle Whip's the wrong answer, so anything else is fine. So that's good. An alien invasion's taking place. You're public enemy number 1. You get to choose any 3 superheroes to protect you. Who do you choose?
Wow. Are they like tough aliens or weak aliens?
They're tough. They're badass. So I
would pick Juggernaut.
Okay.
I would pick probably Thor, and then Deadpool just for the commentary. Like, I don't care if he stops any. If he lets them through, that's fine. Just the commentary would be alone. Alone would be worth it.
I've asked 7 or 8 different comic pros that question. None have given any of those 3 answers. So that's good. That's awesome. I like the...
Juggernaut you just let loose, and, it's one of those things that from a distance you just see bodies in the sky.
Yeah. He's a wrecking ball. That's all you need, right? Exactly.
And Thor, he can handle... what gets through
pretty much anything.
Deadpool, just for the commentary.
Just for the fun, right? That's awesome. So, last thing, where can people find you online if they want to follow you?
I don't really have a site, so they just Facebook my name or, they can find me.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Michael Babinski.
Awesome. Cool. Hey, it's great meeting you. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
What a super nice guy. I mean, we were joking around about the Spider-Man panel that he was in that we saw.
Yeah.
He said he thought of it too late, but he wanted to, just start making things up in the panel about the movie that weren't true, and just to see what kind of reactions,
Right.
This guy was hilarious, man. I mean,
awesome.
I spent a few minutes doing the 5 questions with him, and then afterwards we sat there and just chatted for 15 more minutes. I mean, my daughter and wife were just standing around, but he was he was super friendly. I mean, he just initiated great conversation, and he was just a super nice guy. So
that's great. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. He's awesome. And, he in the interview, he says he's basically just a tracer, but you know what? Inkers are way more than that.
Yeah.
I said it in the interview to him. I said, I look at the inker as the glue between the pencils and the colors. And, without a strong inker who is true to the artist's vision, you don't have much of a comic.
Easily.
But super nice guy, man.
That's great.
He was really funny. He'd been to Iowa a couple times. Said he hopes to come back again. And
I hope so.
Yeah, he was
awesome.
he was pretty fun. So I'm hoping that if he comes back, we can talk to him again and just see what he's been up to.
Oh yeah, love to.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of great creators.
Yeah.
I mean, if you couldn't find something that you liked, you're not looking hard enough.
Right.
Zach bought. I mean, there was an artist there who did like food pictures, paintings.
Yeah.
The Doritos, Funyuns, Cheetos, and eggs, and just paintings like that. He bought a couple of those for his house, and
great.
so
yeah,
there's just a ton of great stuff that you could find. I could have just spent the entire con in that room alone.
They have everything.
Yeah,
it's not. A lot of people probably can't afford the celebrity autographs and all that.
Right.
But man, these panels are all free. There's classes like Makeup 101. I know is one thing for cosplayers, anybody really, but cosplayers really want to get some tips.
Absolutely.
They even had a great kids stage where they had my girls got entertained for a while there. It actually became princesses.
Yeah.
By the all the princesses dressed up like they had this little class thing, and they got to do all this fun stuff.
Awesome.
In front of the kids stage, and they were all like ordained princesses at the end. So
they had the Disney princesses there walking around. That was pretty sweet.
And that's who did it. It was really neat. And then they had a puppet show, and A lot of things for kids. I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was, they covered everything. It was fantastic.
Yeah, all ages, man. I
Yeah.
mean, this is something that I don't know. It was it's nothing like I've never been anything like this before. And
Right.
it was just really, really great. Some cool cars were there. The Back to the Future car.
Yeah.
The DeLorean. I mean, I've seen DeLoreans in the past, but they're plain DeLoreans. I never got to see the movie decked out. You know, that thing was just sweet.
Oh yeah, and the beauty of it is that they work for the Fox Foundation. So
Okay.
like, you know, they tour this car a lot. I think it's actually a couple.
Oh, nice.
Last name is the Haulers. It might be Terry and Karen, maybe I'm
yeah.
guessing. But anyway, they were featured on the Back in Time documentary,
Oh,
which
sweet.
is on Netflix, and I strongly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's really a fantastic story about them. It's not all about them. It just shows like the phenomenon of Back to the Future.
Right.
And basically he was diagnosed with a cancer.
Mm.
So he always wanted to, you know, restore a DeLorean.
Right.
Love that car. And so they just decided to go for it, kind of just
Wow.
a send off, and it ended up reversing his whole health. So they tour that all over the place. So I was really thrilled they came to town this
Man,
year.
that's amazing.
And that car's beautiful.
Well, the car is beautiful, but what a better story, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
for
well,
him.
I sat in it 3 years ago, and I
Yeah.
had no idea of their background.
Right.
And they couldn't be nicer. They're really nice. They love the foundation they work for, and they try to make it really fun for you. They get you get in the car, they turn all the stuff on for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
They set the time circuits to your like date of birth.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it goes all out and it's all lit up. So
Oh,
it's
man.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, there was always a huge line for that car to get a picture in it, you know?
Yeah.
So that was just pretty cool, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, people were just loving it.
That was awesome.
The Dumb and Dumber truck,
Yeah.
that was there. That was pretty funny. I saw a picture on Facebook of it going down the street. So, I mean, when they were leaving, it was full bore. It was still decked out,
That's
you know,
gotta
and it was
be
on the road.
hard to clean.
Oh, man, I don't even know if I'd want
It
to.
looked dirty,
Tackle
but
that.
that's the look. You know, it was.
Yeah, the bugs alone, you know,
Yeah,
just forget the, you know,
You'll
anything
never
else.
see them.
Right. Oh man, but it was funny. I must not have just checked the list, but I didn't know that was going to be there. I saw it and I just started laughing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. And then of course the Speed Racer car.
Yeah, that's
Man,
something.
that thing is sweet in person.
Yeah,
That's just that was some eye candy right there.
it's
That
like
was pretty
literally
cool.
out of the cartoon.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
It's just there. It is right to life. You know, I mean,
Exactly,
It was,
yeah.
yeah, that was pretty unique. You know, it was really neat to see. And then my personal favorite, the Supernatural Impala,
Yep.
from the TV show Supernatural, and the cool thing about that was they had the trunk open, and if you've seen the show, that's where they have all their gear. They're you know, fighting the demons and, you know, everything else that they fight, you know, and all the stuff was in the trunk, you know, just like it was in the show. So my daughter got a picture next to that car and loved it to death. And the guy, I don't recall his name, but super nice guy there too,
Sure.
you know, and just super friendly, and it was a good time. Yeah, just so much to see there. And what'd you buy? What'd you walk out with?
I got, well, like I said earlier, I got Marina Sirtis. I
Yeah.
can't say her name. I got
Yep.
her autograph.
Yep.
I walked out there with a lot of pictures, that I took, and I got a mug that you could refill there. They have Wild Bill's,
Same.
it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one of those and got the chance to talk to him a little bit. The guy who owns this particular one, because I think they might be like a chain type of thing. Basically, you know, to try to give you a visual aid, it looks like this wagon, and it's got all this pop and these huge
The barrels.
barrels.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, I found out the guy who was there is West Des Moines guy,
Oh wow.
and he just bought up the business. So I don't know if the whole business or not, but they were going to, I think, Nebraska next, maybe.
Okay.
But he's trying to get more events here. So basically, anytime you're at an event here, you can fill up. So
That's good, because I'll tell you, that was the best root beer I think I've ever had in my life.
yeah,
That stuff was really good.
the cups are nice too.
Yeah, and they have the it's engraved, you know, the Wizard World Con and stuff like that.
Did you get the
And
blue one?
I got the silver one. Just
Okay.
the steel one.
They just ran out of the blue ones when I
Yeah.
was like finally like, all right, I'll buy one.
Yeah.
But I got a nice one still. I can't complain.
Yeah, I like those silver ones. Those are cool. You know, growing up working on a farm, we had those kind of cups, you know, and they keep things cold, you know. I mean, it's
Yeah, my ice like didn't melt forever.
yeah, and my hand was freezing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I know I bought some artwork the autograph and the pictures for Claire, and I got a couple comics here and there, and it was it was awesome.
So much art, but so much of everything. It's really it just felt like you didn't get a chance to see everything, even though you did. But
or at least you didn't get a chance to go in depth and look at as much as you want.
Yeah,
there's too much there to do and to see. I mean, as an example, you want to walk around the floor a lot, but then they have these great panels. Right. And I know on day one, Zach, yourself, and me, we all went to see the first two panels that had Victor Dandridge was hosting the panel about the DC movie universe.
Yes.
And how it's establishing very strongly so far, and he made an argument of why it could be better than the Marvel universe. And that crowd was pretty split.
Yeah, they were.
Down the middle, man.
Maybe more Marvel.
Yeah, maybe more Marvel, because there was some passionate discussion surrounding that whole thing,
Yeah.
But, he had some great points. He had some points that we've talked about on this show.
Absolutely, yeah. And he even pointed something out, which was a huge epiphany, and I actually managed to record it, but he basically explained... why Batman became Batman in this movie.
Yeah.
And it really made a lot of sense to me, and I found it really unique, because what set it off was who liked seeing the Waynes get killed for the third, fifth time.
And we've talked about that before,
Yeah. But see, I never picked up on what he did.
Yeah.
Just listen to it carefully, or we will play it. But it was really cool how he broke it down. And all I really got from it was, I love the art direction, because Snyder really, with the pearls.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, just the detail. But yeah, that just made it. I wanted to go home and see that movie right away again.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a great panel.
Even if you have any sort of experience in fighting, if I have a gun, who has the advantage, me or you? I do, right? Because I have a gun. It's just what it is. So in this regard, you have Thomas Wayne, that he's from Gotham. He knows how to use some hands. He's a doctor. He knows how to hit you hard. He's up against a guy that has a gun. There's 50-50% chance that he's going to get shot. He does it anyway. He fights him anyway. Even though there's this chance, if he gets the punch off, there's a chance that he lives. He knocks out this guy and it's a wrap. 50-50 shot. So he goes for it. Gets shot. Okay? Now Martha, she's female. She's already witnessed her husband getting shot. What is the percentage of her success? It's infinitely less. Okay? The idea is that if it was 50-50 that her husband was going to get shot, it's almost a guarantee that she's going to get shot. She's smaller than the assailant, so that is also supposed to add to her disadvantage. She fights anyway. This is a key moment that's going to imprint on Bruce's mentality. Okay? So you see this whole thing. Even though she has every reasoning to not fight, because it is almost a guarantee that she's going to lose, she goes for it anyway. This is the whole basis that plays out reiteration in when the next scene is Bruce, many years later, doing the Zod invasion. And he sees all the things that Superman can do. And he's all upset about it. He already knows that he is outmatched by this guy. But what he's done is so dangerous, he has to prepare to fight this man. Even though there's no logical explanation that Bruce should be able to fight him. But because of his upbringing, even when the odds are stacked against you, the right thing is the right thing, and you do it anyway. You fight even though you know there's a huge potentiality that you're going to die. Now, the one thing that the death of the Waynes did that makes things very, very different is that where, generally speaking, we say Bruce Wayne is Batman because of his parents' death. Even in the animated series, they almost always lean towards the patriarchal side of that death. It's always his dad. Whenever he has a dream and he talks about failing, it's always his dad talking to him, not his mom. But in this sequence, the person who dies first is his mother. His dad even has enough time to say her name before he dies. His mom dies first, right away. She's the reason why he's Batman. When he has his dream sequence and he's in the mausoleum, and the grave piece that he focuses on is his mom. The image of the Dark Knight, that Batman thing that pops out of his mother's grave, not his dad's. It's his mom. From his mom comes Batman. That's why he fights. It's his mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Shout out to Mother's Day. Good job. So yeah, that's why he's fighting. So when it comes to, all of a sudden Superman says, you got to save Martha. And he's like, why did you say that name? And Lois is like, that's his mom. It's his mom. Batman puts it together. The reason why you're fighting is exactly the same reason why I'm fighting. I never saw you as a person. I saw you as a target, as a problem. I didn't think of you as a living, breathing person who actually might feel certain ways, that could be convinced of certain things. I didn't look at you that way. Now, there's a lot of things that they throw hints to as the reasonings why. We don't know them specifically because we haven't seen it yet, but presumably the death of Robin, and however that happened, had put Batman in a very jaded position. He's in a far harsher mindset than he's ever been. Alfred even talks to him about it, like, yo, that's not right. And he's like, look, we've never been on the right side of the law. That's never bothered you before. And Alfred's like, yeah, but you ain't never gone this hard, man. Like, what's wrong with you? You want a hug? And Batman's like, I don't need no hug. There's 1% chance, Like, he goes, yeah, it's a delete scene. So the whole idea of the death of the Waynes retelling and why did you say that name is all connected. And it's a very subtle storytelling piece that you can very easily miss, especially if you already had, well, why do we have to see the death of the Waynes again? You don't pay attention to it. Then you miss the point of, the fact that it's his mother that died that makes him Batman. So when Superman says, my mom's the reason why I'm fighting, that's why. That's why that matters to him. Because now all of a sudden, where I put you in this other pedestal where you're something else, something other, actually, no, you're just like I am. And you're willing to do whatever it takes, even fight and kill people to protect the idea of your mom. That's what it's all about. What do you think about that?
I still think it's pretty silly.
I mean, that's fair.
What was the thing? The thing what we said in Minneapolis was like, first of all, the main problem with it, first and foremost, that no one ever talked. People talk about how silly it is that this whole. Well, I read one thing. It summed it up pretty well. They said the only thing, like the sheer coincidence, the sheer luck that stops this attempted homicide and therefore prevents the apocalypse. Is the fact that their moms had the same name. If Clark's mom had been named Janet, everyone would have died.
Everybody would have died.
Luckily. But the other thing that bothered me, even in the theater, was if I was Superman, he was about to kill me, I would be like, you're letting them kill Anne! I wouldn't say that. I'd be like, you're letting them kill my mother. Yeah. That was like, for me, like, why? And you were like, this guy's like, well, he was like, he was saying in the first movie that he did, that he was angry at his dad, he was like, kill out your dad. It's like, that doesn't mean he has ever referred to his mother as anything other than
No. Okay, so what's funny is right before Minneapolis, I had a conversation with my buddy who actively despises Batman v Superman as well. And we I drove to New York and we sat and watched it. We did a live stream commentary on it. And we were talking about how the entire fight, at that point, Superman had been doused twice with kryptonite gas. And I'm like, I don't think he said his mom because he's not lucid. He's not actively able to communicate well. Like, he's actively hurt from the inhaling of the gas.
Why of all things would that make you say Martha? Of all the vocabulary dysfunction,
why Martha?
You say Martha instead of
I can't say why.
Does it hurt to stretch that much?
I stretched Armstrong a little bit. I ate that gringo fruit. What is it? What's the fruit that elongated man had to eat? There we go. But that was what made sense to me. Like, he said Martha because, one, if he said mom, was Bruce paying attention to that? Like, maybe he was trying to say, gotta say Martha Kent. Like, he was trying to get out.
Okay, and that's the first thing.
Maybe he was trying to say, but again, the effects of what has happened to him, he's not able to articulate. That's always been my thing, is that based on how he says things, he's not really able to articulate very well based on how he's just gotten the crap kicked out of him. So that was always my thought, was that he was going to say Martha Kent, but he just couldn't get Kent out.
You know what would have saved that entire moment?
What you got?
I think I know what you're going to say.
I agree that that's the issue with the scene.
Right.
I think people who think that the coincidence is ridiculous need to remember they're watching a movie with God's punching Joe. So
they can't suspend belief for that.
That's the thing that gets me. When you say the suspension of belief, that's not something that they created for this movie. That's been true for these guys' entire career.
So people should accept that. But the one thing that would have saved them, in the scene where Superman is talking to his mother, if for some reason she had said something along the lines of, you're not my son, you're my equal, you're my hero, don't call me mom, call me Martha. Something like that. It would have saved, it would have given them a reason.
Is if Lois Lane had run in and said, you're letting them kill Martha.
Or that. Anything like that. Any reason for them to say the word Martha.
No, they could write a scene in where she knew. I mean, he was already talking to her like, he's gonna kill my mom.
He's gonna kill my mom, dude.
Or it could be that he was in Superman mode. And
trying to protect his identity.
And he doesn't say.
He He don't call her
That's
mom.
pretty clever.
Clark Kent, he says mom.
That's pretty clever. So, like, it's a separation. Like, he's trying to protect her identity by saying Martha, and so it's Lois's fault when she's like, "That's his mom," and he's like,
"Damn it, Lois!"
That's awesome.
That would be the logical thing.
I can get that. I can get with that.
If what you're suggesting is true, which it's completely logical.
Thank you.
All it takes is a 10 or 15 second scene where you're like, hey, where Alfred and Bruce are talking and they talk about how important the mother was.
Right.
One line. That's all.
Well, see, and I think that's almost too feeding. Like, because all the things that I just said are things that are actually in the movie. And one of the things that this belies, this is going to sound really strange, I don't think I'm smarter than anyone in this room. So for me, it's always this weird thing that when I explain this to anybody and they look at me and go, how did you pull that out? I'm like, it was right there. Like, you can see it if you are open to it. But the problem, preconceived notions, a lot of times it'll close us off because we know what we know. And if it doesn't fit what we know, then we're like, it's wrong. I don't like it. I hate it. But again, like if you watch the opening sequence of that movie again with that idea of, let me just see, the idea that they fight back becomes very interesting. It's very unique. And I remember when I first saw it, I've totally forgotten that it was in Dark Knight Returns because I hadn't read Dark Knight Returns in years. So like when he balls up his fist, I'm like, is he about to fight back? And it just struck me as different because that's one thing that, at least cinematically, we have never seen, and I enjoyed it. We got like 5 minutes. What was that? Negan.
Yeah, Negan.
Isn't that
excuse me, it was John Winchester. I'm sorry, no, it was the comedian.
Good job. Oh, nice, very nice.
It was Jeffrey Dean freaking Morgan.
Yeah,
okay.
he's awesome. No, what was your question? What was your question, dear?
What was his Jeffrey Dean?
Listen, I mean,
and like every nerd in the place just like pounced on him.
No, it's really one of the most messed up things ever because like it's Negan and then he's married to Maggie and he beat Glenn to death and obviously they survived the zombie apocalypse.
What?
Yes, they survived the zombie apocalypse. Somehow he killed her other kid or he just takes over and they name Maggie's babies Bruce and it's this whole thing. So it's really refreshing to know that after Walking Dead, society returns and Negan basically is the father of Batman. So let's write that fan fiction. We should totally write that.
Where's the comedian coming?
No, the comedian would be a very bad situation. That would mean that Bruce was not conceived of proper consent. That's
I think you're mixing up the story of Watchmen because Silk Spectre was conceived later of consent after he had the.
I don't know, man. Oh, that's true. That's right. She did say.
Miracle.
She did say yes. That's right. Was like
now we're getting into Watchmen,
but it's all Zack Snyder, so we're cool. We're cool. Not too far. Yes.
I did not read the comics like my mom did.
Okay.
And I really.
You mean your sister did?
When they remake movies, like I didn't really like them. Like I liked I Am Legend.
That's cool.
Even though it was But my whole problem with this movie and why I hated it and I kept falling asleep is because it felt like two movies that they crammed together and did a crappy, rough job editing. Like, these would have been two completely awesome separate movies. And then we could have Wonder Woman. And then we could have had another movie.
We still have Wonder Woman.
We do still have Wonder Woman. I'm hearing really good things about it. In fact, buddies of mine out on the West Coast are watching it now.
I thought I slept through her intro, but it was just her popping out. That's not cool.
My buddy John Paul that I talked to, he actually said that it would have been better, and I was like, you can't really say this without getting stabbed. It would have been better if every time she popped up previously, she never said anything, so that you never knew who she was.
That would have been better because then she would have been just showing us the whole time.
I think it would have been better if she wasn't in the movie.
I mean,
my friend's very adamant about this. Like, everyone loves Wonder Woman in that movie. When she shows up and it's like, and then it's like, and everyone in the theater's like, ah! Like, that wasn't my experience.
She did the most damage.
She did. Now, when it comes to that fight, I can honestly like vouch and justify in my own head many things in this movie. I cannot justify that fight. Like, I don't have the acumen to do it. That fight was ridiculous and stupid to me. Like, I can't figure out why Lois went to go get the spear and not Batman, especially because he didn't do anything in the fight. Like, he literally was like, I'm going to go over here. Keep punching it.
He shot him once in the gap. So
yeah, after Wonder Woman had done like all this other stuff to Doomsday, and then Batman's like, pow! I helped. Like,
it was like at the very end of the fight. Yeah,
right, like at the very end. Like you really could have went to go get the spear. Like that could have been like so for real. And then like when you think about it, if Superman, obviously he's affected by it. Go get Wonder Woman. Really quickly be like, hey, listen, I'll hold the rope if you go get this spear back here. The spear. Listen, I would give him. If he fails, that's fine, but he's gonna die next to Kryptonite. Like, why? Or if he, if in the place that they are in, if he had just grabbed some lead and just wrapped it around.
You're right. At first, about Batman should have been the one to go get it.
Absolutely.
Batman brought the fight there because of the spear.
He did.
It's all his fault anyway.
Lois threw it in the water,
yeah.
but Lois
Come on, Lois.
Right. Lois is messing up for everybody. She's telling who Martha Kent is, just spilling the beans. She threw the spear in the water.
Now we gotta get the spear out of the water. That was kind of comedic, actually. It's like we throw the spear in the water, like shit. Now we gotta go get it in the water.
And then the thing falls, and she almost drowns. That was hilarious.
I did want to say this before we're running out of time. In Minneapolis, we did this whole thing about Man of Steel. We did this whole thing about Batman versus Superman. We were like so out of it, and then we like I was like, so what about Suicide Squad? And you're like, I can't.
I cannot justify Suicide Squad. It's not in me. No, the only thing I can say about Suicide Squad that is any sort of you like that one? The only justification I can give for the way that they told stories is that it mimics the Paul Levitz style of storytelling. The whole A story, B story, C story, and then things rotate out. So like as you finish the A story, the B story moves up in prominence. C story gets a little bit more fleshed out. Then you finish the B story, it goes out, and then C story moves up. It's told in that sequence. The only problem is that works really well on a monthly release comic book. Not so well in a 2-hour movie where you don't go nowhere.
At least the villain in the movie was tough. That's the problem with the Marvel movie.
Wait, there was a villain in that movie?
Yeah, it was Amanda Waller, right? Amanda Waller. She was the villain.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Are we complimenting Enchantress now?
No, like Enchantress became like a Scooby-Doo movie villain, and I don't understand that. Like she looked awesome. She did. Like I want to throw dollars at her. I feel so bad.
You're overdoing the whole villain.
Yeah, like when she first showed up with the dirty, like that was creepy. Like that, if that was Enchantress, you've got my nightmares. Good job. But what she became, I was like, my children, right? Like, what's up, girl? I'll be one of your. Oh,
her brother gave her that outfit because when she looked down, she went.
Guys, if you give your sister that outfit, you are bad.
Yeah, you're. They got a Quicksilver Scarlet Witch relationship. That's not even.
There's a Luke and Leia thing going on.
Yeah. Oh, you're my sister, Joe Dirt stuff. So unfortunately, we have run out of time. But thank you guys so much for engaging in this whole conversation. It's been a blast. Definitely stick around. We're doing a Spider-Man Homecoming 101 panel next. So you guys are more than welcome to kick it with us for that. Ryan, thank you for joining me, man. This was awesome. You're a natural, dude. I'm going to put in a word.
Well, thank you. I actually would very much prefer that you do that.
Well, then I'll definitely do that. Definitely. This is an absolute blast. And we got Danny Finger on.
We had this lady in the back, that panel.
Colleen.
Yes. And she's going to be on the show.
Yeah.
So that's great. She has a lot of knowledge.
Oh, man.
Old comics. And she's
been reading since the 60s.
Yeah. And she put it on Front Street. She did not care
what
people were going to say about
her opinions were her opinions. Yeah. And you know what? We heard them, you know, and she was awesome, man.
It was great.
It was great listening to her, you know. I mean, because you don't get that perspective a lot nowadays.
No.
You know, a lot of these guys in the room, especially these Marvel fans, you know, I mean, a lot of them, I don't think they read comics before 1998, 2000, you know, some of these guys.
Right.
You know, and, you know, growing up in the 70s and 80s and 90s, you know, I always felt like I had a different perspective, but then to hear her,
right,
it was like, oh, geez, man, that was just really cool.
Well, and Victor's whole preconceived notion thing was really unique too, because you know I think that's when Marvel was doing their thing, and he points this out too. When they were doing their thing, you know, they were finding the right formula, and then DC comes around, and then it's like. Preconceived notion is like you got to do it this way. They didn't do it that way. Why didn't do it that way?
Yeah.
Also, Marvel had like pretty much D characters. Iron Man was a D character,
right?
and now he's huge. He's an A character.
Yeah.
So
because they were able to mess with him a little bit more than you could in established Batman or Superman.
So if it was flipped, like what DC did, they changed a few things, and they weren't like huge changes, but those are A characters.
Right.
And they changed a few things, made people mad, but Iron Man, they changed quite a bit.
Well, they changed a ton, and no one complained at all.
Right.
You know, it was like the second coming. You know, I mean, and it was great.
But they will complain now if they change.
They'll complain now if you change movieverse Iron Man.
Yes.
No one cares about comic Iron Man still. You know, I mean that's the problem. But and then you know the one that we sat in after that was again Victor was there, Danny Fingeroth, and then Mikey Babinski, who I got a chance to talk to. They hosted the Spider-Man panel, which really went through the various incarnations of the movies and kind of went through a history of the Vulture. You know, because everybody knows who the Green Goblin is, Dr. Octopus, that whole thing. The Vulture is, you know, almost a third tier type villain, you know, and so they're bringing him back into this movie, or bring him into the movie to start with, and played by Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
He's gonna be a good bad guy.
He's gonna be a really good bad guy, and you know, he's just awesome all around. But I mean, to hear, you know, Danny talk about the history of the Vulture, and you know, he used to be the editor on Spider-Man. I mean, so this guy knows the stuff.
That's
you know?
something.
So it was a fun panel. That was a fun panel to sit through, and he had a PowerPoint going through different, you know, visual images and different versions of the character, and that was pretty cool.
That was cool. That was a nice education.
It really was, man.
Yeah, because I really had no idea. But
yeah,
I guess, was he originally like an 80-year-old or something?
Yeah,
or
he's an older guy, you know, and he just happened to have a suit that could help him fly or whatever, and
but no mask.
No
Remember,
mask.
He kept saying, "Oh,
That's
he
right.
finally got a mask."
Yeah, it's something to protect his face for it, because you know you can just punch him once and he's done. You know, because he's 300 years old. But
right.
Yeah, he it was just really funny, you know, because they it was a whole old and young thing, you know, that created that kind of friction in the comics, and I think the movie's taking an interesting take on it with the way they're going to be doing the Vulture. So
like blue collar workers.
Right, you know, and Stark comes in and takes his contract out from underneath them, you know, when they were trying to help clean things up, and you know, so Michael Keaton's motivation is more just kind of revenge as opposed to, you know, anything else. But it was a fun panel to watch.
Once again, Tony Stark.
Yeah, Tony Stark
causing problems.
But he wouldn't be Tony Stark if he wasn't causing.
We wouldn't
problems.
have movies without him. So keep it up, Tony.
Yeah, we apparently can't have movies without him. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but and he's great in the role. Don't get me wrong; he is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm hoping though that they deck up Spider-Man, so you know it's not the Spider-Man and Tony Stark team up. You know, that's my concern. So we'll see.
It seems predictable.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, I'm going to see it either way. It looks great. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm digging the Mach 1 Spider-Man, if you will. I think it's unique how they're going to give us that, even though they went past it in Civil War, but he basically loses his nicer suit.
Right.
Goes back to that. I like the look, and actually, I wasn't at the con Sunday, but somebody dressed up with that look.
Oh, sweet.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And then two others that we went to, my wife and daughter wanted to see. So, of course, we went because they're the boss. And one was the Charmed panel, and then one was the Buffy panel. So, you know, it had James Marsters in the Buffy panel, and Emma Caulfield, and then, you know, the two Charmed stars were in theirs. And of the two, the Buffy one probably edged it out. I mean, they were both great, you know, and all the actors were, you know, they took every question from the audience, you know.
That's great.
No one held back any questions, obviously, and their answers were just phenomenal. And they were really funny, you know. I mean, they just had a great time. And but that Buffy panel, it made me just want to go watch the show, you know. I mean,
that's great.
And so that's what we did. Went home and watched it. But it was just a lot of fun, you know, and it was cool, you know, watching, you know, Claire and how she's responding to the answers, because she's listening to things that I don't really know much about. You know, they're referencing scenes, they're referencing episodes, and, you know, I'm there for her, you know, so I was just kind of watching all that unfold.
You're like, spoilers.
Right, you know, I mean, exactly. So, but, you know, I saw a lot of Charmed, so, I mean, that one wasn't much of a surprise, but
cool.
Great panels, you know. So, I mean, not just the comic panels where they're very interactive with the fans, but the celebrity panels are as well. I mean, you want to go and talk to a celebrity or ask a celebrity a question about something they've done. that's a great opportunity to do it.
And you get to learn a lot of things that you probably couldn't even find on the internet.
Oh,
you would have
behind the scenes
dig
stuff,
and dig and
right?
dig maybe. But it's neat what comes out. You know, like for instance, Robert England, I think it was our first year. He mentioned that I think he did a play in Iowa once. And he had nothing but great things to say about Iowa. So that was really cool.
It's too bad he couldn't make it this year. I know he broke his foot or leg or something like that.
Yeah, you can actually find the video. He shared it, and it's cute and maybe a little scary because he's wearing the glove, you know.
Oh, nice.
But it's humorous, you know.
That's good.
But he expressed he really wanted to be here, and he'll come back.
Good.
So.
Oh yeah, and you know, again, knock on wood, hoping they come back again next year.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
That whole thing. I think it's important for Iowa. I think it's important for, you know, families. I mean, it's just something that people can do together, and it's, you know, it's really phenomenal.
It's not a home show or anything like that. It's like this is the culture we live in now. Like these movies are huge.
They're huge.
So everything related to those movies are huge, just as, you know, as much. But
yeah, and you get to see the stars, you get to, you know, see the cars, you get to see everything you want, you know, and it's pretty sweet. Did you get a chance to hit any other panels?
I did. I actually went to Birth of Bombshells, behind the scenes with the designer of DC Bombshells.
Nicest guy out there, man. Yep, Lucia. Yep, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, and his crew of Antidote Comics was Chris Brusner, Kurt Peterson, and Jonah Hardenbrook.
Oh, okay.
And funny thing is, Jonah is actually a friend of my cousin's.
Oh, cool.
Years ago, I knew Jonah and his friends made a comic.
Oh, nice.
And that's what this panel was. I mean, a lot of it was about, you know, Ant's work with DC's Bombshells, but they talked about how he got discovered. They basically talked about, you know, forming their ideas for a comic that they put out, and they actually gave out free issues of it. I believe it's called Blood's Own.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going to check it out. The art's fantastic. Great panel. You know, technical difficulty was the fun part, really. They had a PowerPoint prepared. Laptop wasn't working.
Oh, man.
So one of the guys whips out the printout of the slideshow, and he just is doing this. You know, it's all, they're funny guys.
Yeah.
And finally, they did a PDF of the PowerPoint, and everyone started clapping, you know. And then they actually, right at the end, they got the PowerPoint working.
Oh man, of course.
But they went through it and stuff, and it was pretty neat. It showed the designs before it was like 3D sculpted. And Ant was talking about how amazed he was when his art was 3D sculpted for the first time, and because he's had, like, I guess, action figures put out.
He's doing sculptures. I mean, there's stuff based off of his artwork.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
great work. Yeah, and I just I'd love to try and get some of these guys on the show sometime to talk about it, talk about the process itself. But it was a great panel, and getting those free comics was that's what I took home. That was something that was really exciting. So.
Well, and then talking to Ant, he had some really great advice for up and coming talent, you know. So I mean, he's not only sharp and talented, he's just a super nice guy. But I'll tell you, that artwork is so unique, you know, and it's caught hold with a lot of people, and you know, I can't wait to frame, you know, the two pictures I got from him.
Oh,
so
I bet,
that's gonna be pretty fun.
That'll be pretty cool. I also got to see Kane Hodder's panel for a little bit. That was neat. That was really cool. He's a super nice guy. He's taking questions and being very sincere and explaining how he got to play Jason. I don't know which movie he was doing before that, but they got him all in makeup, and they liked the way he did, you know, his character. So they brought him on for Friday the 13th, and he said he was a fan before he was Jason. So that was really cool. And I actually got a snippet of audio from that.
Oh, sweet.
It talks about the new Friday the 13th game. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Just listen.
Cool.
And you're going to be excited.
Nice.
It's very cool. But
well, you know, you asked for a single player, so it's going to take longer. It's your fault. But it was really fun. First of all, it was fun trying to be scary while wearing spandex. Maybe I do look scary in spandex. I don't know. But every once in a while, I would do a scene with a hockey mask on just for my own fun, because it doesn't matter. There's no sensors on my face for Jason, so I didn't have to worry about that. And you know, it was just, I brought in two of my favorite stunt people to do all the kills for the male and the female victims, and they did such an amazing job. I just beat the hell out of it.
Well, yeah, you said earlier that you love working in prosthetics. spandex, you know, because it really, you can see yourself embody that character. Did you find it difficult transitioning to just the spandex, you know, and kind of?
I did a little bit, but what helped, and I always tell the story when I'm talking about the game, in my ignorance, I guess, I didn't realize that video gaming technology, motion capture, had the ability for me to stand on the motion capture grid stage in the spandex, but I could look at a monitor facing in and see myself instantly animated already. So whatever movements I did, I could see what it's going to look like as Jason. So that made it way easier that they could even play it back. You know, I'd do a shot, then they'd play it back. I could watch me as Jason, see if I liked it and stuff. So that made it really a lot better. And you have to choose the part 7 Jason to have the animation on initially. So
in terms of like the outfits and stuff, very cool. Awesome.
Which is always my favorite.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, when he was doing Jason, you know, I mean, that's you know, as an actor, you don't have a ton to work with. You have to work with being menacing and foreboding and that whole thing. And he had it, man. He was
tough.
just
like no dialogue.
It's
like,
tough, you know, and to be able to just do all that stuff that he did, you know, and sell it that way without being able to do a lot. Unbelievable.
Terrifying.
You know? Yeah, it was
terrifying.
It was awesome stuff.
I always think of him when I think of Jason. That's for sure.
My brother and I think there was only 9 or 8 movies at the time, and we did a 1 through 8 or 9 marathon over a 2-day period.
Nice.
My wife was there, and it was just, oh man, we just had a blast.
Were you in a cabin in the woods? That'd be even better.
We were in an apartment in Omaha, Nebraska, so just almost the exact same thing.
That's something I always want to do, though, is watch one of those in the woods.
Oh man.
I mean, I think about it, but
I
don't know if I'd actually do it. I'd probably be scared, but
I'd do it. Of course, I welcome somebody to
just
hack me up with a machete, right? Yeah,
get him to come by,
right?
Knock on the door. Oh my gosh,
in the full mask and the whole thing. You know,
hey, Steve.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I know
great.
in the most recent Mortal Kombat game, Jason is a character, that
cool.
you can use, and so
that's cool.
It is pretty sweet, man. And I always think of him. You know, I mean, just
I know he's great.
He's got that just menacing movement, you know, and he nailed it, man. He just seemed like a cool guy.
Oh yeah, I mean his panel was great. Yeah, you know Robert Englund was supposed to be with him on that panel, and that would have been fantastic.
Oh man, Freddie and Jason in the same room, man, just hanging out.
But hey, it was still great. I love those panels. Yeah. I think I discovered those my second con, and I've been a fan ever since. You get so much out of them, and it's time to sit and relax too.
It is.
There's a lot of walking,
cool down a little bit.
Yeah. But it's like going to a seminar that's fun.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You know, I go to work meetings all day long, as you know, and it just, we don't get to talk about comics there.
No, not at all. Nope.
So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And they had, multiple rooms. They had multiple panels going on at the same time. And so, you know, if you're kind of a super fan, sometimes it's hard. You got to pick and choose, but there's something for everybody in those panels.
There is,
from the comic stuff, the horror stuff, to like the Charmed and Buffy type stuff, and it was just it was a lot of fun.
Well, we even had, this was new for this year, but we had an entertainment stage on the floor, which was really cool, and they did a lot of music. And they even had like this burlesque show Saturday morning. It was people in cosplay doing Cirque du Soleil type stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it was more adult kind of, but kids, I guess, could watch it. They'd have a lot of questions.
Right, yeah.
My friend's kid started laughing when there's this Darth Vader, and it's like, oh, it's Darth Vader, whips off his cape, and he's got like pink underwear. It's a girl,
Yeah.
And he just starts giggling, But
that's funny.
They had this guy towards the end of that Saturday. He was dressed up as Waldo on the keyboard, and he was just rocking out, like, because his keyboard could change sounds, and it was awesome. He was really having the crowd going. So that was cool. That was a nice new addition for sure.
Cool. Yeah, there was just so much to do, and I think the last point, the cosplayers. I mean, a ton of different people, not just official cosplayers that kind of go around and tour, but just fans, I mean, just all over the place dressed up. And
I admire that spirit.
I do too. I don't know if I could do it, and if I could do it, I could easily do it as long as I didn't have my face showing at all.
Of course.
But I mean, those guys, I mean, they go for it, and obviously some of the costumes are way better than the others, but even for those that were, maybe not as in depth, huge kudos to those guys for getting out there and just having a good time just doing something they love to do. I mean,
they're always tweaking their costumes. They I think they learn every time they wear them out. I need to change this and he changed that.
Yeah.
Like I said, they had those tips, those panels that were instructional. You could learn new ways to construct things. But yeah, I mean, you got people are, they're balancing half the time. Like there was this one person on stilts.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic costume. Because you go up to these guys and ask for their pictures, and that's another reason why most of them are there. Is let's take a picture.
Yeah, man,
and
they
you can
love
do
it.
anything you want. And he posed, and it was really neat. But yeah, people who are on like stilts or heavy makeup or heavy clothing. I mean, they're sweating bullets, and for them to strike, because it's not just walking the floor, putting the gear on, but you stop and have to take pictures,
right? Interact with people.
So don't expect to go there and be able to shop or anything,
right?
But hats off to them. Yeah. That's something I'd like to do someday. I don't know what, but not something too heavy.
Yeah.
Something that's breathable.
No kidding, man.
Yeah, but it was really
fun.
cool. Yeah,
I know the con I went to in Des Moines, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, at the state fairgrounds, and it was more of a mid-sized type thing. They had like the local pro wrestling group was there, and they had some good artists and stuff, but they had the stormtrooper guys there.
Yeah,
and I got my picture taken with them.
It's great.
I was on my knees with my hands over my head, like I was under arrest. And they had their guns pointed at me. I mean, that thing was just a riot.
Oh yeah.
And so. And they had all those guys there. They're always willing to take a picture, and the little kids love it to death, the adults love it to death, and just a really, really cool experience.
A lot of them try to break the ice with kids, high five, because they're not trying to scare the kids. Sometimes you gotta run them down, like, hey, can we get a picture with you? So sometimes you end up calling them by their name, Freddy. Like, hey, Freddy, can you come here? Superman, Batman,
Mr. Vader. Yeah, that whole thing.
We had one Batman where it was funny. He was so into his character, but he had his glasses off, so he would hold his glasses up, and my brother-in-law was like, oh, Batman can't see. And we ended up getting a picture with him, and he asked me, it was with my friend's kid, but Batman asked me, can you hold my glasses? And afterwards I was like, I held Bruce Wayne's glasses.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah,
awesome.
It's nice to see all these people come out, so
yeah,
it's great.
It really is, and again, we talked a little bit about, hopefully they're coming next year. Again, I think it's important for our community, and hopefully if they do come and we have that notice, we can help them sell it, and continue to do advertising for them and get the word out, so we have a lot of good show.
Absolutely.
A lot of people show up for it. I mean, in this one, people came from Arkansas, Minnesota, Missouri, so I mean, these are things people love, it's pretty fun.
Sure.
So lastly, before we wrap it up, celebrity wish list. Anyone you'd like to see come?
Yeah, I would. I'm a big Will Wheaton fan.
Yeah,
I think it'd be cool for him to show up.
Yeah,
any Star Trek people, of course, would be awesome.
Right.
Christopher Lloyd would be cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Especially if the DeLorean's here again. Yes, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's some of them, of course, but man, there's just so many to think of.
Right. There's a lot. And like you say, any Star Trek person, just bring them on in, please.
Scott Bakula.
Right. Yeah, that'd be cool too.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I doubt that he'd show, but send.
I actually want Brandon Roth to come back. He came.
Oh yeah,
he came the first year, and I just think that's really cool to have local people who made it come back.
Yeah, he grew up 15 miles away.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just
fantastic.
really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But he still has family here, and that's the thing. So I mean, yeah, get a guy like that coming back.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'd be easier than harder.
Sure.
I mean, but
what about you?
I missed Shatner. I didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
That's a bucket list one. I know they brought in like Seth Rollins and stuff, but Ric Flair was another one that I grew up with that I would just love to meet that guy one time.
Yeah.
And so just stuff like that.
Sure.
Some of those pop culture icons, that'd be pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, it was a great time. And again, thanks to Wizard, thanks to, our friend Jerry over there at Wizard, Jerry Milani. We had a great time. And hopefully if they come next year, y'all can go out there and make it. I know we'll be there.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, for Field of Geeks, I'm Steve.
I'm Josh.
See ya.
See ya.
I pray the Star Wars panel has a trailer. I hope Ben Affleck signs my boob. Hall H feels empty without Kevin Feige. So freaking pumped to see Deadpool.
Show me the chimichangas.
Oh man, the Firefly reunion panel. They got 2 out of 9. Not bad.
Yeah, totally.
I think I'll stop over